Well, thank you for staying with us. And if you have just joined us, you're watching SA Decides, brought to you by ANN7. My name is Audrey Chimwanda. If you missed the first half of the debate, I was talking to my panelists from different political parties, from the ANC, Democratic Alliance, ACDP, as well as the IFP. We're talking about their policies, and they were trying to woo their electorate to their side. Now it's time for us to go to the residents, and they have a few questions for my panelists. Let's go to them now. Yes, sir, please introduce yourself and your question.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nel Suraj. Durban has recently been vexed by unprecedented unrest, and it's been traced back to political factionalism. Well, the Durban incident had to do with the ruling party. My question to my colleagues on the panel, what are political parties doing to curb factionalism? Because there's accusations against all political parties dividing, and we've seen that especially from the last local government election 2011 till now. I think everyone on that panel, the party has experienced splits and splinters except the ACDP. What are the parties doing to curb that, and what is the ACDP doing to have never had that problem? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So we'll take two more questions and then we'll have my panelists answer.
Thank you. My name is Bradley, and I have a question to the DA mayoral candidate Hanif Hussain. Currently in eThekwini, the council has a policy that for houses for 1% for minority groups, that includes white people, Indian people, and colored people. How will the DA change that policy after the 3rd of August? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Lindana Sitwan. I just want to ask the incoming mayor of eThekwini, since the eThekwini municipality has received a clean audit, how is going to make sure that the status of the clean audit continues?
Thank you for that question, sir. I'll start with you, Councillor Grumedo. The issues of factionalism, I know your stance is there is no factionalism within eThekwini ANC, but we have seen that happening in the past. How are you dealing with that?
I'm still repeating that democratic processes, we can't say those are factionals because it's a norm. If a person is having echoes to lead an organization and the communities are saying no, Councillor Grumedo, you're not going to be leading for now, let so and so lead the organization. Sometimes it happens. But also it's being pushed mainly by the opposition parties. They try their level best that we fight one another, but we've overcome that because right now. But
Councillor Grumedo, to be fair, members from your party have conceded that there are factions within the ANC. Are you saying that you have different voices from them?
No, I said it's true, but it does not mean that we are divided. If a person wish to lead in that time, that does not mean that there's a faction.
Right. So what processes do you have in place to deal with such?
Is to make sure that we strengthen our structures. And as you know, as you have said, correctly said, that the ANC keeps on growing. People are coming from other parties to the ANC. What we are doing, we've put our measures in place to have a political school where we'll train our members to understand how the organization operates, because we have heard one of the parties saying that what they do if they want their members, they submit CVs and everything. Within the ANC, we don't do that. We work through the structures because we want to consult as much as we can. Now that's how we operate within the ANC.
Thank you for that response. Democratic Alliance, there's a question for you about housing policy, also a question about factions. If you can answer those two questions quickly, sir.
Let me just say that the issue of factionalism within the ANC is not about, it's not about people wanting to fight for a better community. What they're doing is they're fighting for themselves instead of fighting for the people.
Let's speak about factionalism perhaps.
There's no
in the
factionalism in the Democratic Alliance.
Okay, that's your answer on factionalism.
There's no factionalism in the Democratic Alliance.
Fine, let's speak of the housing policy.
We have a system in which we deal with the way we run the political party in the Democratic Alliance. So there's no factionalism in the DA. As far as the housing policy is concerned, I mean, the policy of the 1% for the minority communities, not too long ago, the eThekwini municipality took a decision in a project called Konubia to allocate only 1% of those houses to the minority communities of the Indian, coloured and white communities. This is the same ANC that says South Africa belongs to all who live in it. Under a DA government, what we will do is to make sure that houses are allocated on the basis of need, not on the basis of race and your friendship with the ANC, because that's what's going on at the moment. Councillors allocate houses to their friends who don't even need these houses. And every year, without fail, more and more people are living in informal settlements who are suffering for more than 20 years in this municipality. And every year, whenever there's an election, the ANC comes and makes elaborate promises and plans. 5 years later, they come with elaborate excuses. And these people continue to suffer. Under the Democratic Alliance government, we will make sure we prioritize the housing to those people who need it the most. If you're living in an informal settlement in eThekwini, your chances of getting a house is much better under the Democratic Alliance than the ANC.
Right. IFP, apparently there's no factions from the ACDP.
I think what the ACDP is doing that is correct is that we have an open and a transparent process. We have our members that are elected from branch level. From branch level, they then go through what we call a guardian committee. Then it comes through to the provincial executive committee, and then finally our national executive committee, which brings it back to the provincial. So there's a thorough screening of all of our candidates, but it's a process also that is open and a process that is transparent.
We don't have the infighting in the IFP right now. But I understand where he comes from. How can they have a split? Because there are only two. And it's not possible for them. But I wanted to say that right now there is political stability in our party. As I mentioned earlier on, that the informal structure that was formed has been collapsed, and there are no more problems now. People who were causing problems in our party, they went to form their informal structure there. Unfortunately, the rain have come and wash away that informal structure. So we have peace in the party, there are no problems, and people realize that all those people who have been convinced to leave the party have now decided to come back to the party. And we are getting members from other political parties who are joining us because we have a leader that you can trust, only the person in the country whom we can call a statesman. There is no smell that is following him. Okay. So the leader that you can trust is our leader.
He does not smell. Great. Councillor Gumedo, yes, would you care to respond to that?
The question that was saying, how am I going to maintain the clean audit that we have? It's simple. Through the structures that we have. I've mentioned that we're having our MPEC, our audit committee, and also we're having our investigations unit. We'll make sure that through we stick on our policies when doing things. We are not just going to be thumb-sucking when doing things. We'll stick on them. And also we'll strengthen our local structures because working with them, it will really assist. And that's all we will do.
How will you deal with the issue of an upsurge of informal settlers in this municipality?
I've been listening to these other parties talking that if we are a member of a community staying in informal settlement, we will stay there forever. In my opening statement, I've said it loud and clear that eThekwini, because all the corners of this South Africa wants to be eThekwini, because that's where we are known as an economical hub, and job seekers are coming to eThekwini. Now, what we'll do, we're going to be having 3 phases of housing. We will be having houses, those that can afford, and houses for people that can afford to pay, and also we'll have houses for people who can pay the less, so that they can be able to stay there and work and then go back to their...
When does this phase begin?
In fact, after I've been elected, because as I've told you that we are not going to be starting afresh. Already we've built houses, and from next week I'm going to be issuing title deeds. I should think it's about 87,000 title deeds that we're going to be issuing within eThekwini in different areas.
If they're saying that they will be distributing those title deeds, who will be doing it? Is it ANC or is it officials? Because we need to know who will be doing this. And concerning to the Manasseh report, it wasn't published because most of the ANC people were implicated on it. So it mustn't be like there was something that was good about it. As for DA, I need to know why DA now is focusing on black people and why they think we as eThekwini gonna trust them, whereas they failed to deliver in Cape Town.
Let's get one more question from the Democratic Alliance.
And my question is, what plans have you got for the eThekwini municipality insofar as public transport is concerned? As you know, we are failing with the services as far as the public transport is concerned.
Thank you for your question, sir. Let's get one more question from the floor.
Good day, it's Luke Munyan. A question regarding the housing issue. There are no houses. An area called Malagazi, Isipingo, there are about 20 taps that are provided for over 10,000 people. Where is the water that they say they're providing for? Where are the houses that they say they are providing for in the South communities?
Thank you for that question, sir. I'll start with you, Councillor Gumede. There's a question about transparency when it comes to the issuing of the title deeds. Who will be carrying out this process?
I just want to tell all the parties that the councillors that are going to be issuing title deeds are the councillors that make sure that they are leading within the city with the officials. At no stage that you can issue something that you have not done. The ANC is going to be leading the process because they are the ones who are going to be issuing this title deed. The mayor of eThekwini is the mayor of the ANC. Now at no stage where another person can issue those title deeds. I want to ask, why were those communities not given title deeds in your time? It's simply because now we're giving them because we're the ones who have been leading the process. And the Manasseh report, to say that it was only ANC members, that is not true. I just need people to be factual. It was not ANC councillors only. Other parties were part of the Manasseh report. And as a person, I don't want just to tamsak. If you go to our books, you can get that. What 89 issue? In what 89, in those transit camps, we have already taken about 65 members to Konopia. And we've started our process because we are building that Konopia. At no stage that you can stand up and say nothing is happening. The last one within eThekwini, all the communities of eThekwini do have water and litter is being picked. That's what we have done. Roads have been built. To stand up and say that there are people who don't have water, that is blue lies.
2.2 billion rand of the people's money disappeared. Fraud, maladministration, corruption. Not a single ANC politician was held accountable. And my colleague must answer that. It's been going on for years. There's no accountability in the ANC. You can do as you please and you get away.
Councillor Gumede, would you like to respond to that right away?
I don't want to answer to someone who's not the member of the council, who is being told what to say. I'm the member of the council and I know what is happening.
Well, I'm a voter in the city, I'm a resident in the city, I pay my rates in the city. And the people have a right to get an answer. And she must answer them.
It is just point scoring. I just want to debate with a person who's within the city, who knows inside what is happening. You can't sit here without being not being a member and tell me what is happening.
Well, tell the people then exactly why you haven't put a single politician in jail from your party for stealing the people's money.
A question, Councillor Gumede, to the electorate, in case they were wondering as well, in terms of impunity. Are councillors held accountable?
I did not want to talk about it because all of them knows what is happening. They sign code of conduct.
We know too.
They sign code of conduct before they start working within the city. And also, our own officials, every year, we sit as the leaders of the city and check as to how did they perform. They sign performance agreements. That's how we make sure that we put our measures in place as the city.
Are you satisfied?
Well, actually, if that's
I did not think so.
If this is the level of performance from the people who are signing performance agreements, our people deserve better. Our people deserve much better.
Can we allow him to finish, sir? Then
let me also say that there was a question about race. And let me tell you, in the Democratic Alliance, and you can look at the people that are sitting here from the DA today, we're the most diverse party in this country. We are not obsessed with race. We're not obsessed with race. The only race that we are obsessed about is the race to build houses for our people, the race to make sure that people get jobs, and the race to build a country and a city that works for its people, not for the politicians. Let me talk to you about this issue about the transport in the city. In about 2002, this municipality ran the public transport to the ground. They could not manage it. They then sold it for 40-odd million rand, 70 million rand, to a private company, friends of the ANC. Those guys ran it to the ground absolutely finished. You had buses that were lying in the depot that had of no value. The municipality bought it back for about 400 million rand. They sold it for 70 million. They bought it back for 400 million. They again ran it to the ground, and now they've outsourced it. What kind of government do we have in place that can't even run a simple transport service because they put their friends and politicians before the people? In the Democratic Alliance, we will employ the right people, we will fire people if they don't do their job, and we will deliver a much better service than the ANC can deliver.
Our transport system right now, everything is well and good. And I don't want to talk about allegations, because if you talk about the DA, we are talking with business people. They always think about businesses. It's simply because they did not get that business. Now they make sure that they criticize everything. But right now everything's in order.
We'll not be getting an answer about that. ACDP, yes sir, you may speak now.
Yeah, let me maybe bring a correction. The irregular expenditure that was found in the Manasa report. Firstly, it was irregular expenditure. Irregular expenditure to the tune of some 1.3 billion rand. So that was. Now, when I had a debate with one of the ANC councillors, mayoral debate in the previous elections, he indicated that it was not fraud and corruption. He says and this comes from the ANC councillor himself, he says we just did not comply with Supply Chain Management and the Municipal Finance Management Act. Now, if these are the kinds of leaders that we have who do not comply with the Municipal Finance Management Act, with the Supply Chain Management Act, certainly then we need to have leaders who are able to stand against that kind of corruption, like the ACDP, and we have consistently done that. From the time that the ACDP has been at local government level from 2000, we have consistently, and there's not a political party here that can say that the ACDP has not spoken out against those irregular expenditures and the crime and the fraud and the corruption within the city.
I am so surprised if Councillor Gumede is saying everything is normal. Why do we have so many protests in the city if everything is fine? Why do we have so many transit camps? Transit camps are for the temporary structures, not for the temporary structures. We have people who have been there since 2008. When people were removed next to the stadium, they were told that the money is there. So it means because they still not have their houses, the money have been misused. We wanted that investigation. We wrote a question. Coming to the issue of public transport, I am surprised because ruling party took a decision to privatize buses. We told them that it's wrong to privatize buses. When those buses were privatized, let me tell you, they were sold with 71 million. And when the municipality buy back those buses, we paid 405 million. What escalated the prices? And there was no asset register that was done. Where in history, whereby your own asset, you buy it times 6 of the money. The ruling party knows what is happening on the issue of transport, but they are coming here today to say everything is fine. It's not fine. The money for the public, for taxpayers has been misused. They must tell the public what is happening. We wrote a letter to KPMG to say we wanted a criminal report. We haven't got it yet now. There is a report, and it's implicating many of the officials that have been employed by the ANC. And with regard to Manasseh report, it is true. Most of the DCM have resigned. They have not done anything because they know that they are protecting their comrades, their cronies. We need to stop that. Please employ people who would be working for the people, not for their interest.
Well, thank you for that. Let's get a couple of more questions. I think we'll take a final round of questions, and then we will come back and close the show.
I want to ask the ANC mayoral candidate to actually reflect on the work that has been done by the ANC in the local government in terms of dealing with these issues.
Thank you. My name is Councillor Martin Meyer, and welcome to my ward, Ward 27, that I so wonderfully and gratefully represent, and will continue to represent after the 3rd of August. I was surprised that Councillor Gumede said that the ANC is going to do the same thing. If the same thing is working, why are they removing the mayor? But my question is to Hanif Hussein from the DA. As a ward councillor, I've been frustrated that the Exco and the city manager could not agree to sign contracts to do the most basic of things like cutting verges and maintaining this very park we're standing in now, where the grass is as high as my knee because nothing was cut for 12 months. What is the DA going to do differently to ensure that service delivery happens timeously and that faction fighting does not prevent people from getting the services they deserve? Thank you.
What are their plans for the youth unemployed? Because the youth unemployment rate in eThekwini is high. The only thing that we have is this EPWU problem, the program that they're having. So what I'm saying, what are they saying according to the youth?
Okay.
That's
fine. I've understood that. That's it for our round of questions. We have to close questions from the floor now. We'll get final remarks from my panelists and as well try to get them to answer the final questions from the residents. I'll start with you, Councillor Gumede, the issue of unemployment and your closing remarks after that.
I just want to start about as a eThekwini, we'll always have backlog because, as I've told you, that we are catering for everyone coming from everywhere, and we are the city that everyone wants to be there. And on the issue of the mayor, I just want to clarify that no one has been removed. It's only the democratic processes that has taken place. And I don't want the opposition to run around and say someone has been removed. There's no such within the ANC. And on the issue of grass cutting, as the ANC, we have said we want to create more jobs. We cannot allow one man to take everything. We are gunning for co-ops to make sure that they cut grass all over, and everyone's going to be happy because they're going to be getting more work. And the last one, as the ANC, on the side of the youth, right now, we've set aside 87.4 million for youth programs. As I told you, that our stance is to capacitate our youth for themselves to do things for themselves. We also partner with our local universities to deal with the issues of youth. Right now, we are busy putting Wi-Fi to make sure that the youth is able to access their systems. As the ANC, the last one, we've managed to electrify in all our areas. Yesterday, I was in Ward 23 as Kennedy Road. Our informal settlements are being electrified, and we are really, really improving our lives. And also, we are also strengthening our social and economic structures because we want our youth to take part on that. We are going to be doing partnership with our big businesses to make sure that we create more jobs. Local economic structures will be strengthened to make sure that we also deal with the issue of job creation. So I just want to say things that we have been doing within the city. I just want to put an emphasis to say that we are not going to be starting afresh, but we are going to be continuing where we've ended and then move forward.
ANC is now planning to roll out Wi-Fi in the city because the Democratic Alliance has done that already and they're learning from us. So I'm really excited. Where? In the city of Cape Town. That's where it started, and your ANC learned from us. So at least it's rolling here. But nonetheless, we welcome the ANC learning from the DA. That's what we're about. But we lead and the ANC follows, and that's great. Let me come to the issue about the grass cutting. Do you know the people in the city must make a choice? What kind of government do you have that can't even keep the grass cut? Your opportunity is coming on the 3rd of August to make sure that you punish this government for their failures and for their failed promises, because that's what they do in every single election. And the problem is not difficult to resolve. The reason why this municipality did not cut grass for an entire year is because they were holding on to contracts to give it to their friends. And then the voters and the residents, the ratepayers, are the ones who suffer. Now that's not an acceptable service. If you want to fix that problem, you employ the right people to get the job done in time, and you make sure that you provide a quality service delivery. Now on the 3rd of August, voters are going to have two choices. There are only two political parties in South Africa that have a genuine track record of delivery. It's the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. And where the DA has governed, we have governed well. We've delivered to the people. That's why 9 out of the 10 best municipalities in South Africa are run by the DA. 10 of the worst run municipalities are run by the ANC. That's the choice that voters have on the 3rd of August.
Right.
It's time to bring change to South Africa. It's time to stop the crooks from stealing our money. It's time for us to build a better future for our children. And we're asking people to join hands with the Democratic Alliance on the 3rd of August and build a better future and bring change to South Africa.
Thank you for your closing remarks. That's the Democratic Alliance. It's time to go to the ACDP and hear what they have to say to the electorate come the 3rd of August.
I think in terms of the question with regards to the youth, the youth and the young people of South Africa are not just our future. Actually, they are our today and the now. We see the value and the potential that so many young people have, not only in South Africa, but throughout Africa and other parts of the world, in terms of bringing transition and bringing change to political dispensations. How we assist the young people in these particular elections is by ensuring that we have a local government that is corrupt-free. What we need for our young people is to ensure that the leaders lead who are capable, leaders who are not going to have their hands in the coffers, leaders who ensure that they are transparent, and the ACDP offers those kinds of leadership. We offer South Africans a leadership that is honest, a country that is vibrant, and a country that is prosperous. And so we're calling on the voters to go out and to vote for the ACDP on the 3rd of August.
Thank you for your closing remarks there. That was Mr. Thring just telling us what they have to offer to the electorate come the 3rd of August. Last but not least, the IFP. Councillor Nkosi, closing remarks from you and any other issues you may want to quickly address.
Unemployment is too high in our city, but we've got a lot of money in our city, simply because the jobs are only for the comrades. We need to employ every citizen of this eThekwini. We need to ensure that we have jobs for all young people. Now, the problem is that everything that has been done, it's only been done in the ANC branches. And the municipalities which are run by the ANC are also failing. If they were not failing, we wouldn't have people who are protesting every month in our city. But yet we have a lot of billions that we are controlling, and the job is the tenders are for individuals. If it's not the sister, it's for certain sister, or it's for the cousin. All people that offer eThekwini who are doing tenders need to afford an opportunity. Right. And let us make sure that we have a clean government. If people are voting for IFP, we'll root out the corruption that we see in the city.
Thank you, sir. Well, a special thank you to my panelists here in eThekwini Metro. It's up for grabs come the 3rd of August. I had with me very quickly from the ANC mayoral candidate, Councillor Zandile Gumede, as well as from the Democratic Alliance, their mayoral candidate, that's Mr. Hanif Hussein from the ACDP, as well Mr. Wayne Thring, and from the IFP, Councillor Mduduzi Nkosi. Thank you so much for watching. Special thank you to my residents as well and members from different political parties. I appreciate your time and your participation. That's all the time we had for SA Decides, coming to you from Durban. Thank you for watching.